This episode of Living the Dram is brought to you by Rupert's Pet Cremation and Transport. I'm going to riff from the heart here. My dog Slimmy. We knew it was coming. He was an old man. Made it to the ripe old age of 14 years, 8 days, I believe. And forevermore, Remembrance Day is going to mean something a hell of a lot different to me than it does most servicemen. But you know who I went and saw?
I reckon you went and saw Rupert's.
I went and saw the team at Rupert's Pet Cremation and Transport. And yeah, we've got copy that we read, but fuck me. The job that they do is impressive. Very impressive. Compassionate and respectful doesn't even begin to describe. The length that they went to. The urn, I went for the premium timber urn. It's, when I'm not in the lounge room, it is easily the fucking nicest thing in there. It's beautiful. Nice little gold trim photo that sits in the top. Got a nice photo when he's sprightly and youthful, 2 years old. Nice way to remember him. I don't really know what else to say, man. I was blown away. The keepsakes box was fucking magic, what they've put in there. Because of his colour, he had the brindle and he had the white. They've put in little pouches of fur snippings, basically from the different parts of his body. So there's a couple of different little brindle patches and a couple of, I don't know how you have different shades of white, but they're two different sort of patches of his white. That was a fucking amazing touch. The paw print is phenomenal. I just can't thank them enough. It was absolutely outstanding service. So they have I'll start riffing from the copy again, I guess. They have a range of urns to choose from. Some really nice shit. You can get traditional looking sort of pewtery urns, or you can just get basic sort of little tin ones. Whatever's, they've got a budget. They've got something to suit every budget. You can customize a plaque with your own inscription, and that memorial box with the keepsakes in it was just something else. It was just icing on the cake. And yeah, I recommend adding the paw print mold. It looks fucking amazing. It's in a nice glass frame. Beautiful way to remember Flynn every time I look at the mantelpiece. But more information, go check it out. Outstanding service. rpct.com.au, and mention Living Dram podcast for a free paw print mold with your cremation package. They also have garden memorial stones. It wasn't for me. I opted out, but some people might really like that if you've got a nicer garden than I have, or if you own your own home where we're renting. Throw in one of those. There's a nice range of them as well. And of course, conditions apply. Rupert's Pet Cremation and Transport. They treat your pet like their own. Season's greetings, my brother.
Season's greetings. Merry Festivus.
For the rest of us, as they say amongst the heathen crowd, how was your 2020?
What a cunt of a year.
It was the year without a lot of things, wasn't it?
I'll tell you what. It's it'll go down in memory as one of the more challenging ones. I think that's across the board.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not talking personally. I think fucking for the world.
Yeah.
What a cunt of a year. Wasn't a great one.
Mm.
Had high expectations. We started 2020 with a bang.
Well, we started in flames, but once those flames were out,
you
thought things were going to get better.
We did.
No.
We really did.
No. Not at all.
No, we got to see Tool this year.
That was pretty cool. Yeah, we lit it up for concerts to start with.
We got some sick concerts in. And then, boom.
And then, nada.
The fucking world broke.
Cancellations left, right and centre.
And it's still happening.
Year without an Olympics.
Yep. Fuck. Not many of that. A war wasn't enough to stop one of those.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
But fucking COVID.
And I don't like their chances for 2021 either.
Nah. No, well, Faith No More have written off next year as well. They're not coming back till 2022.
Okay, yeah. See, I think they're a sensible bunch of dudes.
They are.
Yeah.
They are.
Year without audiences at sporting events.
That was bizarre.
One thing that cracked me the fuck right up was one of the first matches that got played. I can't remember what team he was in. I'd like to say the Bulldogs because I'd like to see them get embarrassed any chance they get. But yeah, scored a pretty good try. Got up to like celebrate, come on, to the crowd, and then sort of he'd done the come on, and then just looked like there was no one there to cheer.
It was so
Just
bizarre.
all of a sudden changed from like this huge rush to a very sheepish.
But it was bizarre watching football, and rugby league in particular being my sport of choice. But watching the rugby league and hearing the players talk and hearing the thud
That
of the
was
bodies
bizarre.
hitting each other and hearing the footfalls and hearing the plays get called, that was a different way to watch a game.
Similar thing with the UFC. I thought, being able to hear absolutely everything, especially every single blow, that kind of made it all that more real.
And cricket, hearing the sledging. Nom, 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 nom.
Yeah, everyone calls it a gentleman's game. Oh man,
It ain't.
they're snide motherfuckers, these guys.
Yeah, it was a weird year for sport, man. It really was.
Plus, I've said it a couple of times. I'm in the government sector, so my job's pretty secure. I have a lot more pros than cons, really.
Well, the other side of that coin is I'm in the private sector.
Yeah.
And
I felt for you, man.
in an industry that was hard hit very early and still has not recovered, and without selling a sob story, when you get reduced 60% of what you're doing and what you make, and it makes it a challenging year.
Yeah.
But it's been a challenging year
sure.
for a lot of people. A lot of people were out of work.
Yep.
And I feel for them. I was one of the lucky ones. And there's still a lot of heartache, a lot of challenges. This is our Christmas episode, and we're only less than 24 hours out from announcements of more restrictions in England, just coming, only a few days out. More restrictions here in Australia with an outbreak in the Greater Sydney area.
Doing our best to. Technically, I guess you could call it a second wave, although it's...
Well, it'll be a third. I mean, I suppose it'll be a second for Sydney, but
second for
it's
Sydney,
very early stage. We're only 72 hours in, but everything's so up in the air, and it has been all year. There's that background stress and anxiety for a lot of people. It's been through the roof. I really feel for a lot of people.
I have seen it out on the streets.
The uncertainty kills people. We're very fortunate in Australia. We live in one of the lucky countries. And
I think the fact that we're an island nation, we are so physically isolated is the main thing that's working for us.
And we've as I say, that we're about to go into restrictions only a few days before Christmas, but the rest of the world is struggling. We've got it good compared to the rest of the world, but I don't think there's anywhere at the moment that could sit there and say that 2020 has been anything other than an utter clusterfuck. And I feel for everyone.
Even though we haven't had too much entertainment, there's been an absolute deluge of new music.
There has been
a lot of a lot of clever approaches to like pay-per-view events, basically, which it's great to see a lot of the bands given the same energy, even though that there's no one there to cheer in between songs. But
must be so weird.
Yeah, but a lot of the performances, you can see they've been quite refined, and as I said, the energy levels are still right up there. I was just watching band Code Orange. They released an album earlier in the year before everything went to shit, and their performance was just fucking red hot, absolutely red hot.
Look, it's been a shit year, but full credit to the people that have kept doing their fucking best and trying to be creative, get things out there for the frontline health workers in every country,
Yeah.
giving their souls on a daily basis, being crippled by the decisions being made. You have our utmost respect. Everyone has my utmost respect because no one's laid down, no one's thrown in the towel. Every single person that I've known and have seen has done their best. And when everyone does their best in a year like this, then no matter how fucked it is, there's hope for 21. There's hope for the future. We've seen some significant advancements in vaccine creation. People and companies, governments and corporations working together. There have been silver linings to this clusterfuck of a year, but hopefully the next one's better, my brother.
Onward and upward.
Indeed.
I really hope so.
But there have been things to celebrate. Sometimes you've got to look real deep for them, but we got through another year. We've got through it, and here we are for our second Christmas episode.
Yeah. I've been hanging for this for a while, actually.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to this. I've gone in a different direction than I did last year.
Okay.
I'm pleased with the direction I've gone. I hope you are too.
Yeah. I sort of have. I think I've ticked a couple of your boxes, but not in a way that you'd expect.
Nice.
So yeah, I hope this turns out to be a good dram that I've picked for you.
I reckon it will be.
But for the uninitiated, as basically a repeat of last year, we gift each other a surprise bottle.
Exactly.
And we'll sit here and dissect it while recapping our highlights in entertainment and maybe throw in a bit of news, current affairs.
Why not?
Well, we're obviously music nerds, headbangers. Anything tickle your fancy completely this year?
Well, a couple of things. Obviously, and we've waxed lyrically about it previously, but getting to see Tool at the beginning of the year was a real highlight.
Outstanding performance.
It was incredible. Also, Between the Buried and Me, just superb, just utterly superb. But Killer Be Killed released an album.
Yeah, that
year
was
as well.
one of my. I had such mixed feelings about it. As I was anticipated the shit out of it, but also if they had just left it at that one album, I thought, you can't improve on perfect.
I expected them to. I was really surprised that they decided to do a second album because it was. I mean, they wouldn't. It was going to be real fucking tough to top that debut effort, man. That was just a fucking sick album.
It was savage.
It really was.
And that's what I thought with they call it a sophomore release, don't they? You follow up.
I believe they do.
It's the same, but it's a little bit more polished, I think, refined. But I guess that's what happens when you work together for that long. I've experienced the same sort of thing with many bands that I've been in. Yeah, by the time you all finally gel and you all find a page and you start getting a bit more intricate, I guess. I'm trying to think of the word for it. It's not quite coming to me, but yeah, it's a little bit more polished, not quite as raw, not quite as rough and aggressive. But there are still some absolutely savage moments on there.
Absolutely. It's a well put together album.
Yeah.
It's not as a complete album as the first one, but you're right. It's more polished, a little bit more refined, and a little bit wider in scope as well. Yeah. They've
experimented a bit more, but yet it doesn't sound experimental in any way.
No,
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the album.
Yeah. Did you by any chance hear any of the System of a Down singles?
I didn't.
Okay. One of them is pretty mediocre, but I have a feeling that they've released it as a fundraiser.
For the conflict in Armenia?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I did hear that actually.
Yeah,
I don't think I was taken by it.
yeah. And the second single that they released was more their true to form kind of weird, wacky sort of self. The only drawback the first song not being anywhere near as good, being a lot slower and a lot more serious. I just wish Darren would shut the fuck up. You're not the lead vocalist of the band. Shut the fuck up. You're fantastic in a backing vocal sense. Serge is the lead vocalist of the band. Let him sing.
Yeah, it started to go downhill with Mesmerised, Hypnotised, didn't it?
Yeah. That's
Really
when
did.
Darren started. I
Dude
don't know.
wants
I don't
his own-
know.
Dude wants to be the front man.
Yeah. Well, that's what Scars on Broadway was for, and it was fucking pus.
Yep.
So stick with what's working. Shut the fuck up and keep playing guitar and System of a Down. Do you have a top 3 by any chance of this year or releases?
I don't think I could give you a top 3. It was an insular year for me. I found it difficult to engage with the year. So
Okay.
there was a lot of stuff that I missed out on, a lot of stuff that kind of went by me this year. So I couldn't give you a top 3.
Okay.
I don't think I couldn't tell you if I listened to 3 new albums this year. Definitely listened to Killer Be Killed's new
I
album.
guarantee
and,
you
and
did.
was wide into it. Well, you could.
Yeah, I can,
you'd
because
be
I can
right.
remember the ones that I've have been shown to us or that I've passed on to you or I've talked about. The Ocean, that was from this year.
That was a really good
Yeah,
album.
that was-
I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was pretty fucking good. That's in my honourable mention category.
Yep.
But the best release I thought of this year, it goes to Igor, Spirituality and Distortion. That dude's a fucking menace.
Oh, you played me parts of that. That dude
Yeah,
is psycho.
Yeah, it's so warped and fucked up. It's so hard to describe.
Yeah. Igor.
It's rooted in metal, but but he's also like an amazing electronic artist. It's supremely glitchy. There's like elements of Baroque.
It's got some super
music in there.
folky parts to it.
Yeah,
as
that's
well,
like the
didn't it?
Baroque kind of, like won't hesitate to chuck an accordion breakdown in something, or one of the songs Papaying where he has Corpse Grinder from Cannibal Corpse
Sick.
do the vocals, just deteriorates into this like 8-bit synth version of of the metal that it was, and then comes back again full on, but Corpse Grinder's still going while it's glitchcore. The film clip is amazing as well. It's like 8-bit Corpse Grinder as if he's like as if he's fucking King Kong, just smashing shit like a video game. That was absolutely stellar. That's my first pick by far.
Nice.
I'd say I'd give the second spot to Benighted, which is pretty much straight up. I wouldn't say straight up death metal. It's quite fast, and like all death metal is brutal. The term brutal death metal, brutal is just fucking obsolete. But these guys are one of the most brutal death metal bands going around.
Cool.
It's borderline tech death, I'd say. Obscene Repressed. Yeah, it was thunderous, absolutely murderously savage. And another album that you kind of dug takes my third spot, I reckon, Rivers of Nile.
Oh, that was
Where
great.
Owls
Yeah, I
Know My
really
Name.
enjoyed that. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Jesus, that was early this year. I'd
Yeah,
forgotten all
yeah.
about that.
And
Yeah,
I think
great
what
album.
really...
I love a bit of metal sax.
Yeah.
Oh.
Didn't that make you stand up and listen? It's already beautifully sort of progressive death, but then that saxophone, Jesus Christ, that's such a great, fantastic juxtaposition.
Yeah, agreed. Absolutely.
Yeah. And there's a bunch of other shit that gets honourable mentions. Sepultura released something that was absolutely killer.
Yeah, okay.
Quadra. I discovered a couple of bands this year, Serpent Column, and which are just delightfully noisy, blackened grindcore, I guess you could say.
Cool.
Venom Prison, which genty kind of death, I guess. Odraza, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and I'm not even going to begin to pronounce the album name because I don't think it even has one vowel in it, and it's about 8 letters. Napalm Death put out a pretty good one. Black Dahlia Murder put out a fucking amazing album, Verminous. Carcass released an EP, which was pretty good. Cataclysm, they just maintain. They're awesome, ferocious as always. Vulturion, which was some straight up Swedish, almost old school death metal. That was good. And a couple of bands that just strayed quite far from metal, but were, really piqued my interest, were a band called TWRP. Well, I just pronounced twerp. I can't remember what it stands for, but it's pretty funny. Think if Daft Punk were a funk band.
Oh, Daft Punk, a funk band?
They're sort of like electronic, I guess, dance, techno.
Yeah, but they got pretty solid funk roots, yeah?
But it's not like, it's not like full funk bass or anything.
You got what I need!
Well, they're sort of, it's that electronic kind of funk, twerp is anyway, and they have, the vocalist uses that vocoder kind of
cool.
to talk into, and he plays a keyboard or a guitar. The bass player's proper funk, and the guitarist is sick. And they all, one of the dudes the main dude, he dresses sort of like Devo a little bit, like future Devo. The bass player's kind of like a lion. They almost look like Wizard of Oz characters. They're fucking amazing. Like, Canadian band. Who else? Bajo Fondo, which is, what would you call it? It's like a modern take on tango music, I guess. So the techno-ish tango, that was pretty cool. So I got that very South American kind of vibe. You could definitely dance to it. Power of Stella did that 3-part EP this year.
Yeah, true. That was good.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. So it was, that's one good thing to come out of this. A lot of acts were basically forced to just create.
Yeah, true.
So it was an absolute deluge. There's the past 3 weeks I've been trying to listen to as much new shit as possible, and it was impossible.
Yeah, nice.
I've still got about 25 albums in the can that I haven't even checked yet.
Well, I suppose I could give an honourable mention to a band I was exposed to this year, an Icelandic band called Solstafir.
Oh, yeah,
Kind of atmospheric.
Yeah, I checked out. That's one of the things that I thought that would be up your alley, actually.
Yeah, I quite like that. I couldn't tell you what the album was called because, again, it's a million consonants with little dots over the top of them. That's no good for me. I can't read that stuff.
I know we have a no phone rule, but it's on my phone. Endless Twilight of Codependent Love.
Well, that's...
But the songs, if you were looking at song titles, yes.
That was pretty clearly English, but I'm probably going off the song names.
Yeah, you use Spotify, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
I don't. I'm old school. What about anything else that you'd give an honourable mention to?
Jeez, it's hard to find honourable mentions for this year. Oh, good. I don't know. I'm drawing blanks. I'll give an honourable mention to Kill or Be Killed for sure.
Yeah. That was a standout. That first single that they hit you with. That was a Deconstructing.
Real good. Yeah, it's Contemplating Deconstruction.
Yeah.
That's fantastic opener.
Yeah. That was everything that you wanted.
Sure was.
3-pronged vocal attack.
Yeah, that's it.
Outstanding.
Chorus after chorus after chorus.
That's it. It's a song for... Everything they do is just full of choruses. Yeah. What about TV? Did you check out any new series?
I did. I checked out... I suppose I'll give an honourable mention to The Boys.
Okay, that looks pretty interesting.
Yeah, kind of like a black humour take on superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed elements of that quite a bit. There wasn't a lot that grabbed me though this year. I didn't spend a lot of time. It's funny. I spent a lot of time rewatching stuff.
Yeah,
like
nice.
I went back to classics, man. I did Community again, Parks and Rec, think comfort TV, things
Yeah,
that made me feel
sure.
good in this, kind of shitty fucking.
Totally understandable.
Yeah, so yeah, went back to classics. Same thing with movies. Nothing stood out that was new in particular this year. Uh, his Dark Materials, I quite enjoyed
Okay.
watching that. That's Philip Pullman novels. His Dark Materials. There was a shitty movie version of The Golden Compass. The Golden Compass is the first book in his
Okay.
Dark Materials, the series. That was really well cast.
Yeah.
I'm toward the end of the first season now, so that gets an honourable mention. But I didn't spend a lot of time seeking out the new. I spent more time seeking comfort
It's
in the
totally
old.
understandable, actually. Yeah, I barely have fucking time for TV as it is. But I ended up finishing Preacher. I'm not sure if the last season of that was released this year. I don't think it was. But I'm glad that I'm always stoked when a season or a series actually ends, and it ends pretty well properly.
Yeah.
Where Preacher, there basically can't be any more. If there is ever going to be any more, it'll be a parallel story, parallel
Cool.
universe.
Nice.
So it was nice, and the way that it wrapped up was yeah. It's always sad, and I don't think you can ever be 100% satisfied when a series ends.
Actually, I will give an honourable mention of Rick and Morty while we're talking
Oh,
cartoons.
yeah.
We got half a season of Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
Technically we got a full season, but we only got half of it this year. But yeah, bless
Yeah,
him.
fuck me, that show's brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could binge that for days.
Oh fuck yeah.
Actually, I think I mentioned this last year. Yeah. I kept up with a few episodes of that BoJack Horseman.
Oh yeah, I enjoyed the first two seasons of that before.
That shit's pretty funny.
It's just it got to the point where I was just so depressed watching it. It's so well done. It's just you're such a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Really well done.
And Mandalorian season 2. Fuck me, that's amazing.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of that.
God, yeah, dude. I think I said the same thing last Christmas. If you're remotely interested in Star Wars, this is wicked.
Yeah, cool.
They haven't put blood in yet, but there's a lot of violence in it, and it's a good, pretty good story so far.
I do like violence.
What about movies? Check out any movies?
I didn't go to the cinemas once this year.
No. Even I guess there wasn't much in the way of new releases. Did you check out that Tenet? Did you see that?
I've got a bunch of stuff that I'm supposed to watch. I'm interested. The new Bill and Ted came out this year.
Oh yeah, that was out of left field.
Yeah, there was a Jay and Silent Bob reboot as well, which I still haven't caught.
You're right.
But I've heard is delightfully absurd. But no, as I said, it wasn't a year of exploration for me. It was a year of insulation and reliving old comforts.
Well, yeah, I'm fucking. Anybody who knows me knows that I am the complete wrong person to discuss movies with. And I struggle to. The only movie that I remember watching this year was Super Size Me, which is fucking, how old is that?
No, that's pretty old.
Yeah. And I found that pretty entertaining.
Cool.
But yeah, I said wrong person to talk about movies. I've probably seen fucking 20 movies in my lifetime. Fair few docos, but yeah, as Super Size is documentary. Yeah, that pretty much wraps up my year in entertainment.
Well, at least you've had some things to talk about. I've unable to really contribute that much in that respect, but
well, you were hooking into the Xbox for a while. What were you getting into?
I was hooking into Diablo for a few months there.
Yeah,
I got kind of good at that, and then bored. Yeah, but yeah, a lot of time on my hands this year. A lot of time on my hands that I did absolutely nothing with.
I think that'll be a bit of a regret for a lot of people.
Oh, absolutely. But I managed to, spend a bunch of time stoned as fuck. So that helped. That's probably
Yeah.
why I don't remember the albums and the movies and the TV shows I watched this year.
Yeah.
Fucking yeah,
It's
I'm sure I've done something. Fuck.
contribution for sure. It's usually how that thing works.
Oh man.
Oh, hopefully this cheers you up.
Fuck yeah.
Merry Christmas, my brother.
Oh fucking woo! You wrapped it like a bonbon.
You got an oversized Christmas cracker.
Fucking. Oh, that's perfect.
But I won't do it with you just in case I get the big side.
Well, fucking.
Oh, nice.
Merry Christmas, brother.
Gift bagged.
Yeah, gift bagged. Yeah, double packed
Oh, intriguing.
with a personalised message on it.
Oh shit, sorry, there's a card on the box. I didn't realise. Oh, that's lovely.
Oh, you know. Oh, look at that. You've wrapped it with. I'll see if I can save.
No, it's half the fun is demolishing the wrapping paper.
All right.
Actually, yeah, I'll let you go first because I did a little bit of research on this because this intrigued me.
Oh, wow. Look at that. The Balvenie Week of Peat, aged 14 years.
So yeah, as I alluded to earlier, there's two things there that ticked the box.
Fucking oath.
A bit of age.
Spent some
and a bit of
time in
peat.
wood, and there's some fucking peat. Oh, glorious.
So yeah, this thoroughly intrigued me when I first saw it, so I did a little bit of research on it. They actually have their own podcast series.
Yeah, right.
And this episode is kind of worth checking out if you want to find out a little bit more.
Sick.
So the first week of peat happened or was bottled in September 2002, but the origins of peated whiskey at Balvenie go back to the late 1940s and ran through to the 60s. I'm not sure why things changed. I didn't actually read the box. I fucking probably should have.
There's a lot of copy there.
Yeah, but they probably tell you the story. This is part of a three cask series,
Oh,
or
cool.
a 3 different bottling series, and I think this is number 2. It might say, but I can't remember what the other 2 were. I should have fucking done that a bit better.
Well, at least you've done research.
Figured we needed something to talk about here. But peating the malt was reintroduced owing to then distillery manager Ian Miller. He spotted a week's gap in the distillery schedule when they were shutting down for maintenance. Okay, it is story number 2. What was I up to? He used his knowledge that he learnt from a recent trip to Islay, and he ordered a batch of Highland peat and built a peat burner on the side of the kiln. So that got me thinking, okay, what's the difference between Highland peat and Islay peat?
Yeah.
Well, Highland peat, they source from this village of New Paisley, and it's, when you think about it, it makes sense, but I never considered it before. It's created by different vegetation, because Islay was underwater at one stage.
Yeah, of course.
So that's why Islay whiskies, the peated whiskies, which they almost all of them are, it would be a bunch of like salt vegetation, which is and like seaweed underwater vegetation, which is what would contribute to that, the salty kelpish medicinal and sort of iodine flavors.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whereas a Highland peat would be sort of more heather and grasses, so they say it has more of a campfire rather than that salty
Yeah, okay.
kind of flavour. And that made me think about when we did Benramic peated and how it said it was 60 parts per million.
Yep.
But we found it a lot softer. It would come down to the consistency of the peat, or the constitution, I should say, of the peat. So it's all, the peat is sourced from a farm in New Paisley, as it has been for ages. I think they called it the Beresley farm. It was hard to understand one of the dude's Scottish accents. And one of the dudes, you just could not understand a fucking word he said. It's pretty hilarious. Back then, the property limits were delineated by stones, and one of the cheeky employees actually moved the stones so he could access like better peat.
Nice.
And then the farmers, found out, realised, and got into a bit of a rage and just banned anyone from any distillery harvesting the peat
Oh.
altogether. So that's probably why they stopped doing it in the 60s.
Yeah, seems an overreaction.
Yeah. He also said, like, back then whiskey making was more seasonal because it was easiest to access the peat in the summer.
Yep.
Because of the frigid temperatures.
Oh, of course, yeah,
the
because
Highlands,
it'd freeze, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And there's also, I liked this, there's a year-to-year link between one peat week and the next. As owing to the strong influence of peat, they had to separate the remaining low wines and fates, and they store them in the tank until next year's distillation.
Cool.
And one fact that I loved about Balvenie was that the malt master, David Stewart, MBE, he's worked at Balvenie for 58 years.
Wow.
Which is the longest serve of anybody in the industry. He started there when he was 17 and has only recently apprenticed Ms. Kelsey McKechnie. David has overseen every bottle of Balvenie produced in the entire world.
Fuck me. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah. Great story to it.
Oh, that's great. Well, the copy on the back of the bottle is lovely. The Balvenie distillery is built on the stories that are told from each generation of craftsmen to the next. They're our lifeblood. It is how we pass on what we know, how we process experience, and how we create new ideas. The Balvenie stories range documents those tales of true character. Well, that's wonderful. Oh, well done, bro. Oh, I can't wait to try that.
Also, Balvenie, you can basically sits directly across the road from Glenfiddich.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned the distillery that you just mentioned, because I've gone down a similar kind of road. I wanted
the new packaging.
last year we did the well, was it last year we did Ben Romack, or was that this year? I can't remember. We did the peated, the 10-year, and the organic.
I think it was this year. It was rather recent.
But yeah, so I wanted to do something that had some age to it.
Lovely.
And that had that slightly, because Ben Romack is still trying to do those traditional spays with the hint of peat to it.
Yeah,
So
lovely.
I wanted something with a little bit of age to it that
Nice.
that tied into, because I remember when we tasted the 10, we said, "Oh, gee, it'd be really nice to try the 15."
Mm-hmm.
So we now have
And
the
also,
opportunity.
this will be a very recent bottling because I think the packaging changed either last year or this year. Outstanding. Thank you, my brother.
No, you're very welcome.
Fucking cool as.
So at least you won a double gold at San Francisco either this year or last year.
Yeah, nice. I wonder if there's a date stamp on here somewhere. Yeah, 30th of 1st, 20.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
This year's bottling. So hopefully this is the best thing to come out of 2020. At least it was before it all went fucked.
Yeah, nice. I think it's got the new design though. I can't say I'm a huge fan of it.
I preferred the old
I liked the old.
packaging. I liked the way that it looks a little bit.
It's more artisanal. I
Yeah,
think,
this
the
is a
old
little too
packaging.
refined. I think a little bit too. It's trying to be something that it's not.
Yeah, it looks very American, I think, as well.
Yeah,
It's
agreed.
got that. It might just be the color scheme.
It could be. I'm not sold on the font choice either. But
Yeah, me neither.
you know me, I'm
I
a
like that.
fussy motherfucker.
I liked the sort of the hand drawn style of the last one.
Yeah, exactly.
Personally,
It just had a touch of elegance to it that I think this lacks.
yeah.
Hopefully the
I wonder-
whiskey has all the elegance inside the bottle and they don't need it on the outside of the bottle.
I wonder why they chose to change.
Yeah, I didn't feel they needed to. Well, let's have a
I
fucking
think we
dram,
should
eh?
look in.
Oh, man. My favourite part of these episodes. It's my favourite part of every episode, the drinking. Where be the wee tag? There he is.
I'm always scared of getting one of these jammed under your fingernail when you're opening them.
Oh, it hurts.
Yeah. Really need a better system.
You'd think we'd have one by now.
Create vaccines. We can't create a fucking easy to open whiskey bottle.
It's like cream. I have cream in my coffee most mornings.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I buy 600 ml things of cream. They still have that shit lid. Like, why?
Oh, they really
why
do,
don't we
don't
have
they?
a fucking screw top for cream? Would it be that hard? Would it be that expensive?
I wonder why the fuck that is.
Fucking hell. We can create a vaccine in 9 months, but we can't have a screw top on cream. It's a disgrace, I tell you.
I wonder if it's one of those things where
Wow.
it's like it's because the first person done it this way, will they just keep on doing it that way?
Oh, no doubt. It's the reason we usually continue to do shitty things.
I can smell the nice gentle bit of smoke. And it does smell like it comes from a pretty heavily charred cask. That smells fucking delicious, just that empty beaker.
Oh, that smells special.
It does have that campfire quality to it.
It really does, doesn't it?
You go on panoramic first.
Oh wow, there's a real delicate sweetness with just that subtle hint of smoke to that panoramic.
That smells great.
No sting there. Spend some time in wood. And the wood does come through. Yeah, typically floral spay, but there is that undercut of that, just delightfully gentle waft of peat.
That's what I'm just reveling in. So I'm not thinking about it too hard. I'm just
It's just gorgeous.
just loving that smell of that. Oh, that sweet burnt.
Yeah, like toasted cereal, you know.
Yeah, just
Hint of fresh cut
lovely.
grass.
Sweet. Like there's no acridity to that.
No.
It's not like the aftermath of a fire or anything where it's
No. Just really well balanced on the nose.
That's fucking delicious.
Bit of candied fig there maybe, or date. Just gentle. Bit of orange peel. That smells lovely.
Oh, I love the sweet charcoal that you're left with on the finish.
That first sip, there's no sting to it.
No,
Beautifully aged.
Slight little tap dance on the taste buds is the closest it comes to any sort of sting or pepper. It's got a lovely undercurrent of malty sweetness.
It is, isn't it? That's that gorgeous, again, that toasted cereal kind of thing. And while there's a touch of pepper on it, it's not the white pepper of youth. It's the cracked pepper of, the charred oak.
Yeah.
Now, I'm fairly certain that this is exclusively first fill as well.
Okay.
So, which I think... Does that refer to first... So, ex-bourbon barrels?
Yeah.
That's what first fill means?
Yes.
So, there is that... There's that slight sweetness from the ex-bourbon that's carrying those kind of toasted oaky notes through. A little bit of char. That's really fucking nice.
Yeah, that's great. I'm starting to get that after the sip. It's helped me detect other things now that it's been muted, and yeah, you can taste that heather, or like it knows the heather definitely, and yeah, the wood and the malt.
That's
fucking great.
It's like it's simple. I don't want to say that in a negative way. It's no, it's unpretentious, is what it is.
Very much so. Yeah.
It's it really is. When we explored Ben Romack and kind of the values and the way that they were
the
going
very
about
traditional nature.
because everything's done by hand in that distillery.
Yeah,
everything.
No gauges.
That's it. No gauges, no computers. Everything is done by hand. You can taste that. It is artisanal. It tastes handcrafted. It has the subtle complexity of a just really beautifully put together malt. That's really fucking nice.
Yeah, that is. It's fucking no burn on the way down whatsoever. You can feel it warm in the belly.
It really is.
Beautifully.
It's it's beautifully it's really well balanced. Everything goes well together. They haven't overdone anything. They've crafted a really lovely traditional spay that's just got that extra depth that I find a lot of spays missing. Just that extra depth of body that comes from that little bit of peat.
Exactly.
That they're intentionally trying to bring back that old style of spay side. Oh, superb. I really like it.
Yeah. Excellent decision.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I'm pleased, and I think that I made the right call out of the, I suppose we're always looking at several different things because there's so many options out there, but I felt this was the right choice, and I'm really pleased with it. I'm glad you like it, brother.
Yeah, cheers, man.
Oh, it's skinny dipping with someone that you want to be skinny dipping with in a crystal clear rock pool, in a water hole somewhere in the bush that you've hiked for 40 minutes to get to.
Spring evening.
Yeah, you've taken a wee picnic, and you've got a wee smoke and a couple of beers as well. There's some music on the Bluetooth speaker, and as you jump into that perfectly temperate water, where it's nice and warm on the top, but it's cooler as you get further, as the water goes over your naked body. It's the joy of breaching the surface and taking a breath of air and shaking the water out of your hair if you've got hair.
Shaking it out of your beard if you've got beard.
It's a kiss. It's a kiss and a cuddle on a summer's day. Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah, that noses fucking amazingly well. That's almost what I'm enjoying most about it. Like, don't get me wrong, she's absolutely beautiful in the mouth, but that nose is so nice.
Nice mouthfeel to it. A nice long finish that it fades delicately.
Yeah.
Leaving those floral heather notes.
Yeah, nice. Bit of sweetness with just a bit of smoke on the top.
Yeah, it's fucking great.
I'm actually intrigued at how similar these are going to be, sort of peated space sides. Similar age.
It'll be interesting to see. Whoa, that nose is actually very different.
Yeah. Kind of a lot fruitier.
Yeah, there's a much more prevalent peat, but you're right, the peat's very different from an Isla peat.
Yeah, it's
a much lighter peat.
Well, yeah, all that heather.
It's
It still does. Okay, if we had have noticed this first, you wouldn't have said that it has a medicinal quality to it, but it's far more of a medicinal quality than the Benramic has.
100%. But yeah, it's almost a what is it? The peat. It's a lighter peat.
Yeah,
The
I
peat
think it
weaves through it.
might be a lighter char, maybe, because that's...
It's also a lighter color, isn't it? Or is it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and certainly in the bottle, it looks like this is a lighter gold,
Yeah.
more
You've got
a
gold
burnished caramel.
versus
Yeah.
more of a copper tinge to the Benramic.
But again, no sting on the nose at all. But it smells fat. Well,
Yes.
no, voluptuous. It
Yeah.
smells voluptuous. It's not fat, but it's curvy.
It's also sort of an oily smell.
Yeah, you're right.
Oily aroma, I should say. I should stop using the word smell.
Really nice robe on it.
It does actually appear to be, quite viscous. Gravity defying.
So it's a little less sweet, a little bit more cereally. You know,
Ooh. I wasn't expecting that much peat on the palate. Oh, and that first... Peat's very short-lived on the finish too.
oh, wow, that is quite peaty.
The
That is a smoky, peaty whiskey.
the nose... Oh, the nose lies, in a way.
It misleads.
Yeah.
It takes you down a more cereal based road, but on the palate, it's an explosion of peat on the palate, and deep peat too. Deep peat. Oh, that's
But it's
lovely.
the peat's very short on the finish.
It is.
The finish overall is quite short, but I'm left with a very, very sweet, lingering.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It's almost. Is there a touch of apricot on the finish?
Trying to work out what that sweetness is.
There's a
God, that's something different though.
there's a real delightful tang to it.
Sort of the peatiness has like a bit of citrus rind, but it's very short. It's sort of a wake the fuck up.
Yeah, you're
And
right.
then
Like
it-
kind of pithy, you know.
Yeah, smoky, pithy, and then it fades to that lovely sweetness as all I'm left with on the back of the tongue. I've never had anything like this before.
No, it's almost the finish reminds me of that. You know that maple glazed bacon. You know where
I've
it's
often
sweet
seen
but
it, but I've
smoky and
never had it
bacony at the
before.
same time. It's just got that lovely hint of sweetness to it. It's not as oily on the mouthfeel as I expect
Yeah.
by looking at the robe. But yeah,
But the
it's,
peat, it's dancing a lot firmer on my tongue.
yes, oh, big
think-
time.
It actually, it does lend itself more to white pepper than.
Yeah, there's a slight, almost chili, you know, kind of
Yeah.
heat to it.
Yeah. Feels like it's like the equivalent of sort of static on my tongue in a way.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, there's a gentle heat that that sticks around for the length of the finish, which is I'm not sure if it's chili or maybe it's like cayenne pepper kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's got depth, more depth than a white pepper, and it isn't the heat of youth. It's the heat of a well constructed. It's very well rounded, very full bodied, super bottom heavy compared to the Ben Romac.
Yeah.
You know, the Ben Romac, it's floral and it's got a hint of delicateness to it. There's not a lot of delicateness to this. This is a full body. This is a rather masculine.
Yeah, it's
Dram.
You'd say it's sort of far more aggressive.
Oh, delightful though. Not what I expected from. Now the Balvenie, is that a Highland or is it a Spey?
Yeah,
it is a Spey.
It's a Speyside, but
I mean, technically Speyside is Highland,
yeah,
isn't
it's
it?
an enclave of the Highlands.
But that is, I've tried a few peated Speys, and this is by far the most heavily peated Spey that I've come across. But you're right, it's a very different kind of peat.
Yeah, and I read somewhere apparently it's around the 30 parts per million, I think.
It'd be interesting to see what the ppm for the Ben Romac is. I know that their peated was 60.
Yeah.
But
I still don't think that the peated Ben Romac came anywhere near this Balvenie
no,
level of...
No, I agree 100%. This is by far the most heavily peated non-Islay whiskey I've come across. Now, it'd be interesting to see... I think there's... So the long row...
Ooh.
Found a sweet spot? Or searching for it?
I want to keep going, I think.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's really brought out that sweetness.
Yeah, nice.
And it's divided the sweetness and the peatiness.
Yeah, cool.
Sounds derogatory, but there's a hint of like cigarette ash, I guess, but it's not like it's a bad thing at all.
Yeah, it's not tobacco, but it's...
Oh, sorry, that's what adding the water really brought that out for me. It separated the peaty ashiness from the sweetness.
Yeah, okay,
It's
cool.
amplified both and separated them.
I'll have a wee drop. Why not? Yeah, it's smarter.
I've probably added about 10 drops to what I had.
I'll start with 4.
That's what they were saying on their podcast, that they add enough, even the malt master and the distillery workers, they'll add enough water to bring it down to about 30%.
Oh, wow.
Which is...
And what taste it, phases all the way through that?
Or? Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, right. That's, the water plays with the nose a little, doesn't it?
Yeah, it changes quite a... Or I don't know now if that's... I have that peat lingering on my mouth, that it's... The olfactory is just deadened to it.
Yeah, I can... there's
but I'm getting that really rich Speyside aroma now.
Yeah, it's a lot more spey on the nose with the peat a little bit muted. Ooh, now with the water, now it has the mouthfeel, the oiliness that it didn't have before. The finish is much longer. That's more the viscosity I was looking for.
There's a nice, peaty tang. With just, a hint of that Highland thing.
There is a touch of that Highland rankness coming through now, isn't it, with the water? Oh, that's delicious.
Yeah, that's something else.
That really is. It's a surprising malt.
Mm-hmm.
That's really fucking nice. I really like it.
Yeah.
I really like it. I'm keen to.
My favourite Balvenie by far.
Oh yeah, yeah. Fuck yeah.
Oh.
Oh, how
you-
sweet is the Ben Ramak with the water added?
Oh, I'm getting some really deep honey now.
Yeah, you're right.
Really deep.
It's almost yeah, it's like a real deep bush honey.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like a raw honey, not the refined shit that you get out of a
Yeah,
jar, but the
not at
shit
all.
you take straight out of the hive. You know, thick and dark,
Oh, that's fucking amazing on the nose.
like a leather box honey. You
Mm-hmm.
know. Oh fuck, that's amazing on the nose. So delightfully rich and sweet.
Unfortunately, it stays on the nose. A little bit empty on the palate, but you get the nice charcoal.
I think it is still sweeter on the palate with the water. The peat is a little more muted. But that may well be because because the Balvenie is so heavily peated
Yeah,
that I'm not detecting as much peat on this. This is far more like a traditional spay. You know, beautifully sweet, really well balanced.
Yeah, very. The balance
So
of this
well
is
balanced.
amazing.
I really like that fucking Ben Romac 15. That is everything that we expected it to be when we were trying the 10.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Fucking exceptional.
It does, in a way, make the peat on the Balvenie seem almost gimmicky.
Potentially
in a way, 'cause
overstated.
Yeah,
Potentially overstated.
that's a less offensive way of saying what I.
But only, and I do genuinely believe only in comparison. I think the Balvenie have achieved what they were looking to achieve with it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking forward to reading the copy on the box and more about the story itself. But
Yeah, it was a right fucking story on the box there.
yeah. That's the most copy I've seen on a box, I think. I'm going to have to actually put my fucking glasses on to read it because the text is real small. But for two things that are very close to each other inadvertently, like we really went down a similar track here. We both wanted an aged statement, and we both wanted to have something a little outside of the traditional spay, but still in that region. How different are these two whiskies? That's amazing. And
Yeah,
I
very
mean, a
much so.
14-year-old, 15-year-old, but just the flavour profiles are so different. But yeah, I mean, now obviously this is I would say the Balvenie is far more heavily peated than the Ben Romac.
Oh,
because
by far.
the Ben Romac,
By
that's
far.
not a peated whiskey.
Almost.
That's a traditional spay from what they were doing, like a spay from... When did they stop having that slight... Was it the 60s that they started to go down the unpeated road for all Speyside, or was it earlier?
Well, that's all I've read up about the Balvenie. I'm not sure if it's true for across the board in Speyside. I've got no idea.
But yeah,
Probably something that we can look into when things changed.
Yeah, because we were...
Maybe they stopped doing it because just to differentiate even further from Isla.
And it may well be that because Isla's so predominant.
That's what
with
they're
the
renowned
peat.
for. But I think also the now that I know the difference between the two peats and it's clearly obvious, I've totally forgotten what I was going to say. Yeah, go on.
It'll come back to you.
Hopefully.
But it's amazing that those two whiskies are so different. I mean, those distilleries wouldn't be too far from each other.
No.
And they would be using...
Well, I know that Balvenie's in Dufton and Ben Romick will only be a few pages long.
We know where Ben Romac is, but we've probably both forgotten off the top of our heads.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, if you'd like to know more about the Ben Romack. We did an entire episode on the distillery. Again, doing their peated expression, their organic expression, and their 10-year-old. So by all means, click on the next page on the website and have a little read up and listen to that episode.
Okay.
Oh, there's a map.
Yeah.
We're usually better prepared, but this is the Christmas episode. That's a surprise. While Rick's looking this up.
Okay, it says it's on 50. Okay. Forest. Okay, that was silent at the time. This whiskey guide was done in 2000.
What, Balvenie or Ben Romack?
Ben Remick was silent at the time, but they're in Forest.
Yeah, cool.
Which, where's that fucking map again? Alva's near Forest. Which kind of looks like it's to the north and centre.
Yeah, sick. Oh, yep.
Whereas, okay, Balvenie, yeah, is a bit more to the southeast. It's east-southeast.
Well, there you go.
I
They
don't
wouldn't be
think
too
you
far
probably
away.
couldn't walk. You probably couldn't walk it in a day.
Well, it's still probably closer than Sydney and the Central Coast.
I reckon you could walk that in a day.
You'd be hard pressed.
I've done Cowan to Brooklyn in 4 hours.
Yeah, what's that? 30k? So you're looking at 90 plus k.
I could find it in a straight line. I don't think it'd be that far.
No, of course not.
But it
walking
was
up
a
and
lot
down
of
hills.
fucking up and down. Bloody nice walk though. That Jerusalem Bay. That'd be a nice place to go swimming.
The Great North Walk from Woy Woy through to Palm Beach. Fuck, that's a real nice walk.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, we could have got to from Brooklyn to Woy Woy. Wouldn't have been too much further.
No, it wouldn't have been. The Great North Walk. I mean, the Great North Walk goes here, there, and everywhere. But we did the stint from starting to Woy Woy tip, and then coming up through round, and then
Down into
through
Wonderbine.
Wonderbine,
Yeah,
and then
I've always-
getting.
Was that when the sculpture symposium was still there?
when
Yeah, I
that
wish that
still
was.
there. Yeah, but yeah, if you keep going around, you can get most of the way to Palm Beach. I think you got to catch a ferry across some
Yeah,
part
you'd
of it.
have to. Yeah.
It's yeah, good fucking walk.
Yeah, I used to love getting the train down to Sydney when I lived up there. Getting the train down to Sydney to go to TAFE at Hornsby. On a spring morning when the water was warmer than the air temperature and all the steam that was just hovering. Well, it's not steam, it's water vapor. You can't see steam apparently. That would just hover sort of within that foot, just that little blanket of fog
Yep.
that covered the shallows there, just before you hit all the oyster leases.
It's a fucking nice
wasn't-
part of the
yeah,
world, isn't
it was enchanting. It'd really sort of wake you up of a morning.
I'll bet. I mean, as much as fucking, as much as 2020 certainly doesn't get anything apart from a .1 out of 10 as far as things go. We're still very fortunate. We live in a fucking beautiful part of the world.
Yeah, I said it, but there's certain, you'd have to divide it up into certain aspects, and I'd say from a work perspective, 2020 gets a fucking 9.5.
Yeah,
for me.
well, it's yeah,
Because there was fucking no one around.
yeah, yep.
It was brilliant. But from an entertainment perspective, it maybe a 2.5. No, I'll give it a 3 because we got to see some good acts at the start of the year.
Yeah, we did.
And there's been a lot of good releases.
But look,
But the socialising, being able to go out to venues with friends and socialise, it's been absolutely fucking pus.
it's been tough, and we've been really fortunate. We've been able to go out. I mean, I've seen a couple of I wouldn't say they were bands, but I've been to a couple of things since we started opening up again, and but I mean, fucking hell, that the New Year's test might be cancelled.
Yeah, shit.
That's there's a lot of stuff up in the air. But at the end of the day, fuck, we're not here to bitch. We're here to drink whiskey and be fucking grateful for the fact that we get to sit here, drink whiskey, and fucking
And talk shit.
Exactly.
I might see what the Rev has to say.
Now, did we give numbers last year?
No.
I don't think we did, and I don't think
No,
we should.
I don't think we should.
I don't think we should. I give it a 10 because I love the fact that fucking you put so much thought into it, and you've clearly put a lot of thought in it, and you've gotten something that's fucking...
Unfortunately, that's not in... He hasn't gotten around to the week of Pete yet.
Oh, well,
not even in the 2021.
Well,
but I reckon Ben Romick 15 is going to get a look in, because especially since the unmothballing.
Yeah. What would you call the unmothball? Well, from now on this podcast, it's called the unmothballing.
Yeah, the 15. Oh, geez. It's a bit sadder than I thought. He's given it a 78.
Oof.
A bit rough.
That's low for the Rev.
Yeah.
What's his problem?
Some charming early moments, especially when the grape escapes its marker and reveals itself in its full juicy and sweet splendour, but it's too short-lived as the sulphur inevitably takes over.
Now, I disagree with that because I'm not detecting a lot of sulphur in that at all.
No.
And there are some things that fucking do have that kind of sulfate, type of sting to it. But this is not one of them, in my opinion. Well, that's the bit of any. Fuck, you can tell the difference immediately, can't you? You're not going to get these two confused any day of the week.
That's...
No,
the sulphurs.
That's fucking gorgeous on the nose. There's no sulphur there, and I don't reckon there's any sulphur on the palate either. And I've got no problem disagreeing with the Rev.
I wonder if that's, the rank Highland thing that I refer to as the decaying daffodils or something.
Oh, maybe it is.
I wonder if that's sulphur.
I think that deserves far more than that. But the Rev has given things in high 90s that I've given fucking low 6s.
That's what he did with the Whiskey Maker's Cut.
Exactly. Yeah.
I couldn't believe that got mid-90s. And we were, we gave it low 6s.
Yeah, exactly. And I stand by that.
Yeah, it was brutal. It was absolutely brutal until you cut it.
But it just goes to show, doesn't it? This is such a subjective thing. Fuck. I don't mind the fact that it's subjective. Because at the end of the day, I love the fact that we get to drink it and talk shit about it.
They're so different to each other.
They are so different.
Fucking... both absolutely splendid in their own right.
Yep. I reckon we nailed it. Again.
Merry Christmas, my brother.
Slancha.
Slancha.